Russian troops have made new advances on the front between Kostiantynivka and Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast, said Viktor Trehubov, spokesperson for Ukraine's Khortytsia operational group during a broadcast on Suspilne. Pokrovsk is one of the main strongholds of Ukraine's defense in Donetsk. For more than a year, Russian forces have been trying to capture the city because its loss would open the way for deeper advances, cut key supply routes, and expose Kostiantynivka and other Ukrainian-held towns to direct threat. Euromaidan Press says, according to Trehubov, Russian units are now trying to bypass Pokrovsk from the east to put the city in a partial encirclement rather than storming it head-on. There has been some movement on the Pokrovsk front, a partial penetration between Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka. They are trying to expand this foothold while our forces focus on inflicting maximum losses in manpower and equipment, slowing their advance and pushing them back, Trehubov said. Russian forces, he said, are avoiding a direct assault and aiming instead to isolate Pokrovsk. Military analyst Jan Matveev explains that the Russian plan is to pin down Ukrainian units inside the city, sever their supply lines and, if possible, surround and destroy them. Combat is currently active on two main fronts: the southwestern outskirts of Pokrovsk, the northeast, around Rodinsk, Suvorov, and Nikhanorivka. Small Russian infantry groups are also infiltrating through Zverevo and Pervomaiske. Their task is to slip into the outskirts, unsettle Ukrainian defenses from the rear, and prepare the ground for larger forces. For Russian forces, synchronization is crucial, Matveev said. If supply lines remain intact, their losses will be heavy. If Ukrainian troops are free to maneuver, they can avoid encirclement. Military analyst Kostyantyn Mashovets warns that the danger goes beyond Pokrovsk itself and reflects a broader weakening of Ukrainian positions along several stretches of the front. What worries me most now is the way the front is starting to give way in several areas, at least at the tactical level. Mashovets wrote, if the country's military and political leadership keeps focusing on anything other than the war itself, the consequences could be extremely serious. While some experts emphasize the urgency of holding the city, military analyst Bohdan Myroshnykov argues that Russian operations around Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka are still in a preparatory phase rather than ready for a full-scale assault. Pokrovsk also marks the southernmost point of Ukraine's fortress belt in Donetsk Oblast, a chain of fortified cities that stretches north through Slovyansk, Kramatorsk, Druzhkivka, and Kostiantynivka. Its loss would weaken defenses along the entire belt and allow Russian forces a strong foothold for further operations north and west. Euromaidan Press says, whether Ukraine has the manpower, mechanized reserves, and strategic support to mount a counterattack along that axis and to hold the fortress belt remains a critical question in the weeks ahead. From now on, Putin's guards carry more than just a black briefcase. A new means of protection against the Ukrainian armed forces has been spotted online. Now, Putin's bodyguard accompanies him with an interceptor drone. This is evidenced by a video that appeared on the internet the other day, although it is dated May the 9th, 2025. The video was shared by Ukrainian radio technology expert Sergei Bezkresnov, Flash. In the video, Putin's security guard can be seen holding an interceptor drone. Experts claim that the guard is indeed holding a Yolka interceptor drone. It is launched from a reusable catapult and is designed to intercept FPV drones, reconnaissance drones, aircraft-type drones, and the so-called Baba Yaga. This type of interceptor has already been demonstrated in action on Russian military channels on numerous occasions. The video shows Putin walking past the military lined up in a row. Next to the Russian president is the head of the Ministry of Defense, Andrei Belousov. The military parade was commanded by the Commander-in-Chief of the Ground Forces, Oleg Salyukov. The source recalled that mobile internet was restricted in Moscow for the parade to take place. A special canopy was installed over the main stand to protect those gathered from possible drone strikes. On the eve of the parade, Ukraine stepped up drone attacks, which reached the Moscow region. The Kremlin had good reason to fear attacks on May the 9th itself, so security measures were significantly increased. Recall, since the start of 2025, Ukrainian forces have conducted a series of bombing raids on oil refineries and other energy infrastructure deep inside Russia. The attacks are part of an ambitious Ukrainian air offensive that is also targeting Russian military logistics and defense production sites. Ukraine's expanding airstrike campaign highlights the country's growing long-range capabilities thanks to the rapid evolution of domestic drone and missile production since 2022. The attacks come at a time when Russian troops are making slow but steady progress in eastern Ukraine. By bringing Putin's invasion home to Russia, Kiev aims to disrupt Moscow's battlefield operations, expose Russia's vulnerability, and establish the kind of deterrence that could eventually help set the stage for a durable peace. The story of Ramzan Kadyrov's sudden hospitalization in Turkey continues to acquire new details. The version that the head of Chechnya tried to commit suicide is being considered. This was reported by the influential Russian Telegram channel VCHK-OGPU, which is associated with Russian special services. Turkish media reported on July the 25th that Kadyrov nearly drowned on the beach in Bodrum. It was reported that he began to choke in the shallow water. Beach guards came to his aid and called an ambulance. The ambulance and the motorcade left the private clinic where the representative of Putin's regime was taken. The source of VCHK-OGPU draws attention to the fact that at the time of the incident there were no guards with Kadyrov. He was rescued by complete strangers and he, apparently, was alone on the beach. According to the channel's sources, such behavior is unusual. Recently, the head of Chechnya rarely appears in public due to serious health problems. According to informed people from the Republic, Kadyrov suffers from a chronic illness, experiences severe pain, requires strong medications, and has difficulty moving. For this reason, no one in his entourage expected that he would even dare to leave the hotel, let alone swim in the sea. There is a version spreading among the Chechen elite that the head of the Republic could have deliberately gone into the water alone, not expecting to return. Nobody thought that he would go anywhere at all, let alone go to the beach. And the security blinked. He was alone in the water. And apparently this is not accidental. According to the prevailing version, Kadyrov was not going to return from the sea, but the beach security interfered with his plans, the Russian resource reported. Adding to the intrigue is information about a certain will allegedly drawn up by Kadyrov. Sources claim that in it, he asks that in the event of his death, leadership of the Republic be temporarily transferred to his ally Adam Delimkhanov. According to Kadyrov's plan, he should govern Chechnya until the politician's son, Adam, reaches the required age to officially assume the post. At the same time, according to sources, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin does not yet support the idea of transferring power in Chechnya by inheritance. This is what worries Kadyrov. He fears that after his departure, control over the Republic will pass to people not connected with his clan. It is noteworthy that shortly before his trip to Turkey, videos with Kadyrov's participation appeared on his Telegram channel. However, as observers note, he looks sick in the footage. There are no close-ups, and Kadyrov himself barely speaks. The health of the Chechen leader and his plans for a succession remain the subject of speculation, but the incident in Bodrum has clearly added the tensions in Kadyrov's circle and raised new questions about the republic's political future.